Adam Hayes III next on the Enzo Show. Shot on location at Garden State Outdoor Sportsman Show. Part of the events here at the show is the Garden State 3D Winter Classic Archery Tournament, a competition where the winner takes home a cash prize. Participating in these games is Adam Hayes III, known for his contributions to bow hunting. We even had a chance to sit with Adam Hayes. Let's take a look. Welcome everybody to G-Sauce 2012 and to the Enzo Show. I'd like to introduce my friend Adam Hayes from Columbus, Ohio. How you doing, Adam?
I'm doing great. You?
I'm doing all right. Well, I mean, we're sitting
here
at a hunting show and a 3D shoot, talking to the man who shot 3 200-inch bucks already in Ohio, and just living the dream here, just sitting in a hunting show and
it's a good day.
Just having a good time.
It's a good day.
And first, I'd like to thank you, and I really appreciate you coming out here and helping us out. I know you've been with us since we took the show over 2 years ago.
I appreciate you guys inviting me out.
Yeah, well, I'm a fan because I'm one of those, degenerate, burnout, outdoor channel guys that just love to watch hunting show, mainly about whitetails, and I know that's what you're all about. So it was great to meet you last year, and then when we had the idea of doing this, I know we talked about, potentially doing some stuff together, and, had 12 months to really think about what could be done, because again, in my mind, you're living the dream. We talked yesterday and we really kind of, discussed what your dreams were, and you basically said you got into this is because you're basically working to hunt.
It's the only way I could figure out to be able to hunt as much as I wanted to.
Let me ask you, how did that come about? And I know, your father introduced you to hunting, and you've been hunting since you were 13, I believe you
14.
said? 14. And you were going with him when you were younger,
Yep.
Which in my mind I think is one of the greatest things ever, and I'm doing that with my daughter. My father did it with me, but I was a small game hunter, rabbits, pheasant. Deer season was, the deer week, December, first week in December, and you went gun hunting, and then you went back to the small game.
Right.
And 10, 12 years ago, my friends were pushing me, let's give it a shot, go out and try it, and shot a little spike buck, and that's it. I was hooked, and the whole archery, deer hunting, it was amazing. It was
Right.
It was literally one of the best things I've ever experienced in my life. Now doing it with my daughter, there's a lot worse things kids could be doing
For
than
sure.
being outdoors. So tell me a little bit about how it started for you. I know your dad started, but then give me a little bit of the history as to where you are right now that you're, videotaping 200+ inch deer. And
I started carrying a camera with me in high school.
Really?
The old VHC, I think, the big cameras,
Big camera like
giant
that?
tapes. Yeah, just taking it out every time I went out just to film. I was just ate up with it back then, and that was before we had camera arms where you could film your hunt. And I was just carrying one, and when I'd see a deer, I'd lay the camera down and do my thing. But I've been carrying a camera forever, and I think about 10 or 11 years ago, a company that was actually up in a production company in Michigan had a guy working in Columbus, and he tracked me down, saw my name somewhere, and showed him all my footage, and started doing some freelance work for them back in the day. Had him come down, hunt with me a few times, did some camera work for him, and it just progressed from there. Started out with Skyline Camouflage about 9 years ago. Produced Hunting on the Horizon for them for 2 years. Went to Lone Wolf Tree Stands after that. Produced Whitetail Addictions for I think 5 seasons.
great shows.
Yeah.
Great shows.
It was just about everyday guys,
Yeah.
Everyday guys, no big movie stars or anything. Average guys that were killing big deer consistently, and we had a great following from the tree stand company. Left that, went to work for Tom Miranda on Whitetail Country on ESPN. Helped him produce Dominant Bucks the first 2 years. And this just recently, I went to Intrepid Outdoors, which aired on Versus, which just switched to NBC Sports this year. So,
Now, your dream,
as far as the animals go,
just just your career, your just how you want it. I mean, because again, you're obviously an established videographer. You're obviously an unbelievable hunter. You're one of the top pros in the country. You hold 3 monster animals over 200 inches, and that's hard to do. There's some guys that have been hunting 40, 50 years that, have 3 or 4. At your age right now, I'm not going to disclose it, but I'm going to say it's close to mine. But you and where you hunt and what you've seen, and the deer you have on film, you could potentially double that by the time your career's over. And I know ultimately you want to break the record with archery tackle. Am I correct?
Yeah.
So I just, what do you think is going to be? What I'm looking to find out is where is it end up? Adam Hayes, 20 years from now, where does he wind up?
If I could keep doing what I'm doing now for the next 20 years and be, successful at it like I have been, I mean, I can't imagine much more than that. I've been blessed to do it for this long. If I could do it another 20 years, I'm way ahead of the game, honestly. And for me, if I've been blessed to shoot 3, if the big guy upstairs thinks I deserve 1 more, I can't imagine being able to accomplish that, because it's been a lifelong dream for me as far as the hunting goes. And in the last 10 years to try to do something nobody else has ever done. I was never a great athlete, never had, dreams of being a professional football player or anything like that. But, I've chased deer for a long time, and to be able to do something like that nobody's done and shoot 4, I mean, that's pretty special.
Now, is that what drives you? Or just the deer hunting in general? I mean, because we're looking at about a 170 class here that my estimation, to me, could be a deer of a lifetime. If I could achieve one of these in my lifetime, and there was that one deer you didn't recover, which was, you're saying, would have been the biggest. And I could only imagine how you felt. Does it still get you? Do you still get that adrenaline? Even though you're like, all right, he's a 170, I'm going to hold out, I think I'm going to do it back. Does it still get you where you're breathless and you're still shaking uncontrollably?
If you would have seen me in the tree the night I shot this deer, I mean, it's a deer of a lifetime, but it's, it's short of 200. You would have thought, how did this guy ever get an arrow in that buck? I mean, it does. It still gets me. The day that doesn't happen anymore is the day to hang it up.
Right, that's and that's what I say to a lot of people. And we'll be right back after this commercial break. Adam is known for hunting deer in small pockets of land just outside the city limits, and we were talking yesterday. You would prefer, I mean, if you had your place to pick, if you were anywhere in the country, a state, and where you'd want to hunt?
Right where I live. I've been everywhere from Ohio to Alberta chasing whitetails, and I've never been anywhere that it's any better than right in central Ohio. I'm sure there's other places that are just as good, but I don't think there's anything any better. And I've always believed I'd rather have the right 5 acres than the wrong 500. I mean, I've shot some giant deer in some tiny spots. And,
where people wouldn't even think to hunt.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is crazy that you have forget the numbers, but the quality that they can mature to that age. And there are a lot of bow hunters in this country.
Yeah.
Nationwide. And a lot of people overlook those places.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And I mean, there's videos years ago of, I don't know if it was Chuck Adams, I'm not 100% sure, but he was like, the backyard bucks. But it was one series, and kind of, that was it. Yep. But you start to see it more and more now that, even, we're in New Jersey, 20 miles west of the city.
Out.
Yeah.
Secret's out on urban bucks.
Now you are obviously in your industry, you're one of the top guys in your industry. So all of these celebrity type hunters, which is what I call them, and again, they have their own properties. They can raise their deer generally because it's totally controlled. Not a high fence job. But now, do you see more and more of these celebrity guys doing that? Because I heard a rumor that Waddell floated around New Jersey trying to kill a big albino or pieball, in the 150, 160 class range. There was 3 of them spotted somewhere in central Jersey, not too far from here. But rumor was he actually came to New Jersey trying to hunt one of those deers.
Really?
Yep. It's unconfirmed. you know, if I can confirm the source, I will, but you're starting to see more and more of that you're starting to see these celebrities and these professionals starting to go that route?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to have a huge farm that I could manage for deer and kind of control the scenario, but I'm not that fortunate yet. Maybe one of these days.
And you don't do a lot of, I think we spoke yesterday, most of your hunts, if not all of them, you're all on private property that you have secured through friends and permission, and you're hunting those properties, whether it's through a lease or somebody giving you access to it.
Right.
You're not going on, these guided, semi-guided, hunts and in the Midwest.
Right,
and
right.
it's
Yeah, for
you.
the most part, I'm doing my own thing. I do hunt with a couple outfitters, but I do my own scouting, hang my own stands.
Oh, so that's the deal with them. They give you an area.
Right, right.
You have access to that area. You hang your stands. You do it all on your own.
Right.
You don't have somebody dropping you off the tree stand. It's all you.
Yeah, because I'm filming my own hunts, and it takes a special scenario, special situation, a special tree, and a special setup to get set up and do what I do. I can hardly ever get up in somebody's set and be able to set my stuff up the way it needs to be set up. So I hang all my own stuff. I prefer to do all my own scouting. I'm a big specific deer guy.
You have your hit list.
Yeah.
That's the one you want.
I don't like just climb up in a stand and hoping a big one comes by.
You got to know.
I like to know that buck's there, and that's what it's all about with me, is the one-on-one with the specific animal. It's that game. It's that chess match.
Let me ask you a question, though. You're in an area, you've scouted it, you check your cameras, and you've got a couple on the hit list, and you've singled out the one, and what happens? I think I know the answer, but what happens just out of the blue, just a giant, a gem just shows up, and it's not him. And through the camera, you can't really score these deer like you can when you see them on the hoof.
Yeah.
What do you do? And you got one tag, or you potentially maybe have a gun tag. Maybe you could come back. Maybe there's a muzzle loaded tag. Maybe there's a late season tag. You let them go?
Usually when you look at them,
Yeah.
You know. If you don't have to think about it and they're big
You
enough,
automatically know that's
you're
it.
shooting.
It's
Yeah.
the binoculars go down, pick up the bow, and you're good.
Yep.
I got another question for you, though. And again, I've busted your chops more than anything else, which we had a lot of fun shooting a course yesterday, and I was extremely humbled.
I think did I win?
Yes. Yes, you shot at 240.
Even though you were practicing the last 3 days.
I was practicing the last 3 days. I practiced really hard yesterday. Brought my hunting bow in yesterday thinking that I was really going to get smart and cute. I got crushed. Mike came in a humble second, 220.
Yep.
But, I mean, you got a shot today shooting for the money against all these professionals. There's something to be said. Those guys shot the course 3, 4, 5 times.
Right.
So that's pretty good coming in with a 240. Now, we messed you up a little bit today because
Did you move everything around?
we moved the numbers around so the course doesn't lay out the same.
Ah.
So last night Mike and I were here when everybody left, pulled everything down, and I think we did a pretty good job. But I think today's a little bit more challenging. The shots are not as long. I don't think you have that 45-yard shot, but I think we confused you a little bit.
Great.
I think great.
So the 4 hours I spent in here practicing last night after
it was no good.
Everybody
You're
left.
gonna have to shoot this one, and then we're gonna have to shoot off again. This is a brand new course, so you'll have one up on me and Mike. My other one question, and this will happen, and I know this is your business, but sometime within your near future, we'll say within the 5 years, what's gonna take you to come to Jersey?
To shoot a deer?
And videotape. And again, you might not shoot a 200-inch in Jersey, but knowing you might, who knows? It'd just show up.
Mm-hmm.
But you got a shot anywhere between you could shoot a buck, no problem, which I think would be a big notch in your belt if you come into New Jersey, one of the big names.
If I can come here and share camp with you, I'm here, man.
What do you think about the show? Because I know you've seen it. Did you see it 3 years ago? Or was last year your first year?
Last year was my first year.
So even from last year to this year, do you see some improvements?
Oh yeah, definitely. And I've done a lot of shows over the year. This is by far my favorite one. That's why I'm here. So I came back.
And we
I
really,
love you guys, man.
And we really appreciate it. I know we talked through the course of the year, and you're getting ready for Harrisburg, which we're going to come out there and support you as well. This is I've been coming to the show for many years, and the dream was always to get into the Deer Classic. For years, it was a real prominent thing, and it was bragging rights, and guys, they all want to gloat around their deer and puff their chest, a shot one of these big deer in New Jersey. But a lot of guys started to drop off because they just displayed them on poster boards, put them in a corner. So we were like, what's the best way to display them? Basically in your, it's like in your living room. And it was great. That one change last year probably brought a 35% increase in the amount of people that have, entered their deer.
Right.
And we want to put the scoring, come in and get your deer scored, which they were doing for a while through a Division of Fish and Game, which is another thing. Which is because you were saying basically in other shows you had, they were giving out prizes, and it was a prideful thing.
Got to make it a big buck contest.
Yeah, you could definitely, and you know what? I'd like to run that for next year. Probably that might be a great idea to put on the website now for next year's deer. These deer that just for 2011 season.
Right.
Put some sort of prize out there and start bringing even more people to bring their deer in. Unlike our friend who had a 200+ inch deer on his shoulders yesterday, which
he had me fooled.
Oh, well, I had no idea. You know what I mean? I was like, how does, and believe it or not, as big as this state is, when these big deer get shot, it's amazing how these pictures will filter through everybody's text messages. Because somebody's told, did you hear this guy shot this? And it becomes such a small a small click in a state this big. Do you find that with you guys as well? On the professional circuit, do you see that a lot?
I was at the archery trade show in Columbus last week, and a guy that I'd never met before showed up with a picture of this deer from the taxidermy studio.
You're kidding
before I ever saw the deer. I mean, how does that happen?
Through the show, people wind up becoming your friends. You start to, you get to see them once a year. It's like seeing an old friend. You get to shoot the.
That's one of the best things about this industry. I've met people that will be lifelong friends.
And we'll be right back after this commercial break. I got one more question for you.
Shoot.
Is there anything that you want to tell us that's important to you, that is something you want to accomplish, something you got coming down the line? Anything that we should be looking out for?
As far as my career goes?
Anything in Adam Hayes' life.
Anything?
Anything. Doesn't have to be hunting related. Could be anything.
Yeah?
Yeah.
The only thing I can think of really is I'm trying to help promote Cabela's Trophy Properties in Ohio, getting into the real estate recreational property. Got a lot of really big deer in Ohio, and it's getting to be, it's not a sleeper anymore. Secret's out.
Secret's out.
A lot of guys want to come to Ohio, so.
So is there a website, phone number?
Yeah, buying or leasing property in Ohio. You can go to Cabela's-Trophy-Properties.com or OhioOutdoorProperties.com.
Now, how do they get in touch with Adam Hayes? That automatically they get in touch with you, or?
Yeah. Call the office, email through the website.
Well, I want to thank you very much. I had a blast this weekend.
Me too, man.
We're going to do dinner tonight, so it's not over for us before you head home, and then you got to come back and pick up this big boy. So, but I really do want to thank you from the bottom of my heart, because I loved meeting you last year. I'm glad I met you. To me, you're going to be a friend for life, whether you like it or not.
Sure.
Just short of stalking. But I really, really do appreciate it, because we did have a blast. I know Mike and Rick and the rest of the guys, they love to see you. And I appreciate you coming to support our show.
And I really appreciate you guys inviting me back.
It's no problem. We'll be coming back forever. As long as we have it, you'll be coming back, so we appreciate, and I do appreciate your friendship.
Sounds good to me, man.
Thank you very much for joining us. We'll see you next time. I'm here with Adam Hayes III, who just completed the finals of the 3D Winter Classic our first annual here at G-Sauce, and finished in second place. Great score, 282. Was beaten by Skip Percival, 284. Adam, what happened?
I choked. I'm just glad that I was able to compete with those guys. I mean, I'm a hunter. I'm not a competitive shooter, so I can't believe that score myself.
And from what I understand, Skip competes pretty much every weekend, and he was in the 250s yesterday, and he was also, I think he shot 240 his first night, which I believe was Friday night. So that's pretty impressive, shooting a 282. You missed it by two points. Maybe if you would have won it if you didn't miss that one ring.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what was going through your mind when you were coming towards the end? Did you think you even had a shot?
I was just hoping to hit the target, man. With all those people watching, I was just hoping I was going to hit all the targets. That was my goal.
Well, during your seminar, there was a crowd of people out there of about 100, and it kind of died down just a little bit before you came out, and then you started to draw a crowd there towards the end. And would you do it again?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Big time?
Yeah, I might have to start getting serious about this stuff.
Adam, you did some seminars for us here at G-Sauce. Tell us a little bit about them.
It's just basically, you know, the techniques and strategies I've learned in the last 30 years chasing deer with a stick and string, and I've kind of developed a tactic that's worked for me consistently for the past 20 years on targeting mature bucks and hunting specific animals, and just trying to teach everybody what's worked for me.
How was the turnout on the seminars?
It was really good, really good.
I know they were looking for you this last one. Adam was going to shoot in the final, and we were going to push back his class, but we got a little bit of a demand. People started screaming a little bit. They wanted you to do your seminar first. And
we got her done.
You did.
Hopefully,
get it done.
hopefully some guys picked up some tips and techniques that'll help them shoot the biggest deer of their life. That's the goal, man. Help everybody out.
I appreciate that. I hope he helps me out, too. I'd like to shoot a big deer, too. So I want to thank you for your participation, and I'm glad I was pulling for you, you know, for obvious reasons.
Well, you got to pull harder next time.
Listen, I promise you I will. I'll cheer a little bit harder, too. So thank you again, and congratulations.
Thank you, man.
Second place.